GMP. An introduction to GMP and the relationships between products, quality, and consumer safety. Course objectives. During this course, you will be guided through the following topics. Creating quality products. GXP, a common term. History of GMP. GMP versus cGMP. Who sets the standards for GMP? Consequences of breaching GMP rules. Key elements of cGMP. Creating quality products. International organizations, continental agencies, and government authorities have used decades of industry experience and knowledge to update and improve a framework for life science companies acting as reliable service providers or producers. When we use a medical device or take a medication, we want a guarantee of safety. This guarantee of that safety and security comes down to each company within this industry to ensure they have implemented relevant standards and regulations that apply to the products or services they produce. Good manufacturing practices are just one of those regulations. Developing, producing, or distributing pharmaceuticals or medical devices requires a practical symbiosis of good manufacturing practices, integrated into a suitable quality management system, QMS, and, where applicable, a PQS, pharmaceutical quality systems, next to many other requirements. GMP builds a quality-first mindset into all procedures and throughout a product's life cycle. GMP acts as a way to ensure compliance with product specifications, regulations, and adherence to product safety and efficacy standards. GXP, a common term in life science. In the life science industry, you will often hear the term GXP. GXP is a general abbreviation for good practice, and the X stands for the various fields of operation. For example, Current Good Documentation Practice or cGDoc, and Current Good Manufacturing Practices or cGMP. History of GMP. There were few GMP regulations or standards available for the pharmaceutical or medical world just decades ago. However, over time a series of events occurred that pushed for a greater focus on regulating medicine development, manufacturing, distribution and, in general, the practices and controls implemented in manufacturing life science companies. Some of these events include the death of children from tetanus in 1901 after the administration of a contaminated diphtheria vaccine. The death of 107 people in the United States in 1937 was caused by the ingestion of the cough syrup elixir sulfanilamide. The toxicity of the cough syrup was due to the use of diethylene glycol as a solvent to save costs. The thalidomide scandal. The sleeping pill Contagan contained the sedative thalidomide that was sold in Germany between 1957 and 1961. In November 1961, it was discovered that this drug had caused the birth of children with deformities. In 1963, the first GMP regulations were introduced within the United States, bringing about a new age of compliance and quality control for life science companies. In 1968, the World Health Organization, WHO, developed and adopted GMP guidelines as the first step of international standardization. And in 1969, the World Health Assembly recommended the first version of the WHO certification scheme on the quality of pharmaceutical products moving in the global market. It accepted the WHO GMP guidelines as an integral part of the scheme. GMP versus cGMP. GMP, simply put, stands for Good Manufacturing Practice. And cGMP stands for Current Good Manufacturing Practices. We all have developed a level of trust that the products we buy are safe, so we would also assume that all companies follow current good manufacturing practices. However, this is not always the case, and in some countries, the focus on current has been made even more important and even built into the regular reviews and updates of manufacturing practices within the life science industry. For example, cGMP is used in the United States and specific laws are enforced by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, to ensure current practices. However, the term cGMP is also used within the EU. Both focus on the entire value chain of any life science company that wants to act in the USA or EU. In essence, all companies within the life science industry should follow cGMP. And for that purpose, this course will only focus on current good manufacturing practices. Who sets the standards for cGMP? Throughout the globe, multiple organizations set both regulations and standards that are applicable to the US FDA. These FDA regulations enable a common understanding of the regulatory process by describing the requirements that need to be followed by drug manufacturers, applicants, and any party who is applicable under FDA regulations. The main regulation for this industry is called Title 21, Food and Drugs. The below sections are included in Title 21 and specific to cGMP. 21 CFR, Part 210, cGMP in manufacturing processing, packing, or holding of drugs. 21 CFR, Part 211, cGMP for finished pharmaceuticals. 21 CFR, Part 212, cGMP for positron emission tomography drugs. 21 CFR Part 314, for FDA approval to market a new drug. 21 CFR Part 600, biological products, general. EUDRELEX. The European Union has a public domain that contains all guidelines, laws, and standards that the EU has published. EUDRELEX is where you can find the below guideline, which provides guidance for the interpretation of the principles and guidelines of good manufacturing practices for medicinal products for human and veterinary. This is covered in EUDRELEX, Volume 4, Good Manufacturing Practice Guidelines. ICH. The International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use, or ICH, also provides a guideline for GMP. While this is not a government body or agency, the ICH plays an important role in providing standards for pharmaceuticals. For example, the ICH Guideline Q7 is titled Good Manufacturing Practice Guide for Pharmaceutical Ingredients. In many cases, the ICH guidelines provide a more practical solution for companies with a higher degree of detail while generally considering all important GMP guidelines published by authorities worldwide. EMA. While the EMA, European Medicines Agency, is also not a regulatory body or government agency, it is an agency of the European Union, EU, and is responsible for the scientific evaluation, supervision, and safety monitoring of medicines in the EU. The EMA also coordinates GMP inspections of manufacturing sites for medicines whose marketing authorization are within the EU. cGMP across borders.